Hi guys, today we're going to work on how to chunk and paragraph shrink. You got some packets from the county, some reading packets, and they had some things that said to chunk and paragraph shrink, so I'm going to show you how to do that with the story Earth Day Birthday. All right, you have two questions. First of all is what is chunking and paragraph shrinking? And then what do I need to use that for anyway? So I'm going to walk you through that. First of all, what is chunking? All right, chunking is actually taking a longer story or a longer reading passage, that's what we're looking at today, and breaking it up into chunks. All right, and paragraph shrinking is exactly what you see modeled over here on the left for you. You can see that there are some steps to paragraph shrinking. The first step is after I've chunked it and got it into a smaller section, now I'm trying to decide in there, what is the story or the passage, who is it talking about or what is it talking about? Second of all, what is the most important thing about that who or that what they're talking about? And then the third thing is putting that together in a really quick sentence that has 10 words or less. All right, so you can notice over here on the left, this is about Scooby, a dog. The dog has fleas sometimes. And so if I were to be reading a longer story, I could go back and remember that that chunk was about the dog having some fleas. All right, and why would we do this? Well, as good readers, we want to remember parts that we've read. And sometimes we're reading, and if it happens to be a long passage or a long story, we sort of forget some of the characters along the way, or we might forget special events that happen. So if we can paragraph shrink, then that's going to help us remember what we've read, and it's kind of like a little mini summary for each section. And then of course it's great if we have to answer questions about something. So come on and let's practice with one. The first story that the county gave out was the Earth Day Birthday. Now, as a really good reader, the first thing that I do every time I read the title of a story is I make some sort of prediction, I try to connect with it some way. So I notice this is called Earth Day Birthday. So I think this is going to have something to do with Earth Day and maybe a birthday, since that's what it's called. So I've set my purpose for reading. I need to read to find out what this is about. Remember, I'm going to keep in mind who or what's in the story, what's most important, and then put it together. Now, I've already pre-chunked this story. So if you're looking at your paper copy or your copy online, you're going to see that I only snipped out part of this. So I've chunked it already. I'm going to go ahead and read the story. You can read along with me or you can just enjoy my reading. I just want a normal birthday party, April told Bailey as they walked home from school. Bailey knew what April meant. April's parents loved the environment, and because April happened to be born on Earth Day, all her parties had been an Earth Day theme. Remember when you turned 7? Bailey said. How could I forget the throw out blowout, said April. All right, we've just read our very first chunk, so we're going to go ahead and put those 3 steps into place. The first step is, who is this about? Okay, it's not about what, it's about who. So in this case, it's about April. Well, what did we learn about April? In here, we learned that April, she was born on Earth Day. Earth Day is a time that they celebrate one day a year to kind of do some things that are earthy. All right, and then we're putting it together in 10 words or less. And so I wrote, April had Earth Day birthday parties. All right, it's kind of a tongue twister, isn't it? So this is going to help me remember what this chunk is about. All right, here's my second chunk. We helped out at your garage sale and donated the money to charity. And when you turned 8, it was a tree spree, finished April. We planted maples. Last year, we all collected newspapers to recycle, said Bailey. The print sprint, April groaned. Bailey giggled. I thought it was fun. Later that night, as April loaded the dishwasher, she said, I'd like to plan my own party this year. Sure, said Mom. We could have a compost carnival. Great idea, said Dad. April cleared her throat. I'd like to go to the maze craze instead. Really? Said Dad, surprised. I guess we could do that, said Mom. All right, now this is the next chunk of the story that I had. So the who or what is still going to continue to be April. This is still pretty much about April. And what happened in this particular part of the story is April really wants her own party. Okay, she's always had the same kind of parties and they seem to enjoy them, but she wants to plan her own party. So here's kind of my summary in 10 words or less. April wants to plan a party at Maze Craze. Here's the next chunk of my story. April couldn't wait for her birthday. She and her friends would have so much fun, and they wouldn't have to think one bit about the earth. At school the next day, April told her friends, "I'm having my birthday party at Maze Craze." "You are," said Josie, "but we always do something earthy on your birthday." "Remember that salamander we found 2 years ago?" said Tyler. "Yeah," said April. "This year, we're not even going outside." "Oh," said Tyler. The following weekend, everyone gathered in the parking lot outside of Maze Craze. "Thanks for coming," said April. "I've been so excited about my party. No shovels, no collecting recyclables, nothing earthy about it." She shifted her feet. "Then I got here this morning and I saw this parking lot." April's friends glanced around. Plastic bottles bounced around the cement. Newspapers and fast food sacks clogged the storm drain. Shopping bags rustled in the trees. Even though I wanted a non-Earth Day birthday, I couldn't have fun knowing this mess was out here. "Can we pick up the garbage in the parking lot first, then go to the maze?" "Of course," said her friends. April's parents grabbed some gloves and trash bags from the trunk of the car. All right, this is still about April, so it's still our who or what is April. The most important thing at this time is that April notices that there's a mess. All right, they're ready to celebrate at the Maze Craze, but she notices a mess. So I said, you know what? April and her friends decide they're going to clean up the mess. That's really what this whole chunk is about. She notices the mess and they want to clean it up. The kids fanned out across the parking lot, and notice that fanned out, there's a number 3 down there, and at the bottom it says to move in different directions. So that's kind of a new vocabulary term, fanned out. So they're moving in different directions. The kids fanned out across the parking lot while their parents watched for traffic. Before long, they had filled 3 bags with bottles, cans, and paper to recycle. April looked at the bags and smiled. It felt good to do something for the earth. And with everyone pitching in, it didn't take long. "Happy Earth Day, everyone," said April. "Now I'm ready for Maze Craze." "Happy birthday, April," shouted her friends. All right, in this case, we are still talking about April. But at this point, April not only notices the mess in the last chunk that we read, but now she decides that they're going to clean up the mess. And I wrote that April feels good about cleaning up the mess. So notice she says it felt good to do something from the earth, for the earth. So she notices the mess, she decides to clean up the mess. So in reality, does she still do something on Earth Day that helps better the earth? She does without meaning to. All right, now we're going to show what we know. Okay, so we've got 4 questions. This is question number 1, and we're going to be using some of those things that we wrote, that paragraph shrinking. If I were looking at my story, then I would be able to go back and look at each of the chunks and kind of get an idea of what I thought of when I was reading through that. So I just went ahead and put the chunks, I put the paragraph shrinking at the bottom to kind of help us remember what we had read about, since I can't show that at the same time. So which sentence best describes the theme of the short story? The theme is going to be kind of like the overarching idea behind the story. So let's take a look at each of the choices. While it's not fun to take care of the earth, it is necessary. All right, in this one, I look back and I noticed that her friends actually really did enjoy taking care of the earth. So I'm going to have to eliminate that and say that's really not a good choice. Letter B, it feels good to do important things like take care of the earth. I actually remember her saying that she enjoyed that. So I am going to put a P for possibility. Doesn't mean that's the answer I've chosen yet, but I am choosing P because I want to go back and look at it as a possibility for the future. Letter C, sharing your birthday with someone else can be difficult. Now, I don't know that she was actually sharing with someone else, so I'm going to have to eliminate that one. Earth Day is a holiday that people should celebrate every day. I don't know that that was actually the theme because we noticed that everything had to do with her party. So I'm actually going to eliminate that one as well. And I'm going to say based on what we see down at the bottom, we're going to choose letter B and say it feels good to do important things like take care of the earth. That is something that was kind of the theme that, that we notice throughout the story. Oops. All right, it actually popped up some text evidence before I asked the question. Which detail from the text best supports the answer to part A? All right, I went ahead and grabbed some text evidence that I thought would be helpful to this. So it says, even though I wanted a non-Earth Day birthday, I couldn't have fun knowing this mess was out here. Can we pick up the garbage in the parking lot first and then go through the maze? So this is kind of going back and it's supporting the idea that she enjoys taking care of the earth. So let's look and see if we can find something that kind of goes around with that. So April's parents loved the environment, and because April happened to be born on Earth Day, all her parties had an Earth Day theme. That is not going to be something that supports what we chose earlier. April couldn't wait for her birthday. She and her friends would have so much fun, and they wouldn't have to think one bit about the earth. All right, I'm going to eliminate that as well. Thanks for coming, said April. I've been so excited about my party. No shovels, no collecting recyclables, nothing earthy about it. I'm going to eliminate that one as well. And I am actually going to choose today, even though I wanted a non-Earth Day birthday, I couldn't have fun knowing this mess was out here. Because you know what? She likes to take care of the earth. That's important to her, whether it's her birthday or another day. Let's take a look at the next one. Which of the following best explains why April's earlier birthdays involved helping the environment? So I went ahead and found some text evidence to help me with this one as well. Bailey knew what April meant. April's parents loved the environment, and because April happened to be born on Earth Day, all her parties had an Earth Day theme. Remember when you turned 7? Bailey said. So I notice here that it says that her parents loved the environment. So I'm kind of looking for something that gives me something that would support that. Letter A, April wanted her birthday parties to be more exciting than her friends. I don't think that there was anything that showed that. April's parents cared more about the environment than April having fun. I don't think that was the case either. April's parents cared about the earth and wanted April to care about it as well. That's kind of supported here in the text evidence that I found. So that's going to get my P for possibility. April wanted to show her friends that taking care of the earth can be fun. I do think that she enjoys taking care of the earth and that it can be fun. So that's something also that I'm going to put for P for possibility. Now remember, sometimes I have multiple P's for possibility because I just don't want to eliminate them yet. But when I come down and I take a look at my text evidence, I really feel that the fact that her parents cared for the environment is going to make her want to care for the environment as well. So I'm going to choose letter C and say, you know what, I think that letter D is not my best choice. All right, the next one. How do April's friends respond when she tells them they won't be doing something earthy for her birthday? Letter A. First of all, I found some text support when I went back in my story. And it says, at school the next day, April told her friends, I'm having my birthday party at Maze Craze. You are, said Josie. But we always do something earthy on your birthday. Remember that salamander we found 2 years ago? Said Tyler. Yeah, said April. This year, we're not even going outside. So from my text evidence, when he says you are, but we always do something earthy on your birthday, that makes me think that he's really pretty surprised. And then he goes on and tells about how they enjoyed finding the salamanders 2 years before. So I think that maybe the kids were surprised. So let's see if we can find that. They are surprised that April isn't having a birthday party on Earth Day with an Earth Day theme. That's going to get a P for possibility. They are relieved that they won't have to go outside for April's birthday. They are excited to go to the maze craze rather than having to help the earth. They are disappointed in April. There was nothing that showed they were disappointed in April. So at this point, I feel like A is really going to be my best choice for this one. All right, guys, you just finished chunking and paragraph shrinking for me. And you also are expanding that brain. I know these days are hard where you've got lots of time, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do your reading, to do your math, and keep your mind and your brain still growing. Till next time, bye-bye.